Digimon Survive can be best described as a tactical monster taming RPG set in the digital world with a focus on, who would have guessed it, surviving its treachery and trying to find your way out. The game was originally announced back in 2018, slated for a 2019 launch, but unfortunately has undergone 3 major delays, once to 2020, then once to 2021, and now to 2022. The goal of this video is to sort of talk about what we know about the game and whether or not these delays should be of concern to fans eagerly awaiting the game's arrival. I've also taken to various social media platforms to get some fan dialogue to sort of see what the community is feeling regarding all of this. That said, make sure to sit back, relax, and let's dive right in. Okay, so I really want to touch on both general perspectives I see when it comes to the whole Digimon Survive situation, as I think both make sense, and I definitely could understand why people feel the way they do on both sides. Now, when I say all of this, and I use the term both sides, I don't mean to say that the Digimon community is divided by any means, but rather there are 2 perspectives on this, as well as a sort of nuanced middle ground, which is kind of where I'm sitting at based on what I've seen. Anyways, the first perspective is quite simple and essentially aligns with the legendary quote from Shigeru Miyamoto: a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. In other words, a lot of fans have expressed the sentiment that, hey, we want this game to be good, so we don't mind it being delayed. Just take your time and come out with a good product. The second perspective I typically see is the idea that if a game needs 3 delays, there's something going on that should be worrisome to the fans hoping for this game to come out. Now, this could be an issue on the marketing side of things, with them continually pushing it back 1 year at a time instead of just delaying it indefinitely until they have a more solid release window in mind, or it can be an issue with development. Now, a more nuanced approach to this, and sort of my perspective as well, is kind of a mixed bag. I'd much rather them delay the game and take the time they need rather than them put out a buggy product or a downright unfinished one. But I also can acknowledge that the game being delayed 3 times and barely having any updates outside of said delay can be worrisome, or at least perceived as an issue to an extent. Other than the initial trailer and the 5 minutes of gameplay from years ago, we haven't received much in the form of Digimon reveals, new gameplay footage, in-depth breakdowns of various systems, etc. We've gotten a couple character reveals a while back, but that's pretty much it, and yeah, it's pretty strange. Now, this could just be how they're deciding to go about marketing the game, by keeping a lot of it a secret. We've seen this sort of style of marketing with games like the Souls franchise, but with Digimon Survive being a new sub-series of Digimon games, you'd think they'd want to push it a little more. If this was an addition to the Digimon World or Digimon Story subsects, I'd understand, since you got games like, I don't know, let's say Cyber Sleuth, that gives you an idea of what to expect if it was related to the Digimon Story games. Keeping what is essentially a wild card shrouded in so much mystery may end up causing it to lose traction and result in less attention during launch. So before we continue, I do want to read some comments that have been posted to the Digimon subreddit in response to my post titled "Thoughts on Digimon Survive Delay." One really good response comes from NickelHoBR2. If the game isn't finished, the best and only option they have is delaying. There is no doubt about that, but with such a lack of information and marketing, not only they let the fans worried or angry, but they'll also waste the potential of this game, as with no updates, trailers, etc. Most people will forget about the game, and many other people that could buy the game wouldn't, because they would not know about it. And even if the game could be the best game in the world, it would be a failure as no one would buy it. OK Perspective 369 also states, I've been in multiple situations similar to this, so waiting on a delayed game is nothing new to me. My concern, however, is that there is no update other than it's been delayed, again with no explanation as to why or what has been done, as well as quite literally no marketing whatsoever outside of the initial reveal about 3 years ago. Akan, though Cephalavast 68, chimes in and says, there's no problem with it being delayed as long as the game is good, but nothing has assured us that this is going to be a good game. Literally, the last thing I remember about the game itself was the animated intro and a little more, and after that they restarted production and changed the engine, and now they're saying that they're delaying the game again because they wanted to add more things. It's weird that this part was omitted in the English announcement, and that gave them troubles. So we have a delayed game that no one knows how it looks, with even more development troubles, a great lacking of communication and marketing, and a comment of giving us more info the next year, the perfect recipe for disaster. Personally, I expect the game to be decent, but I wish that it ends up being a great game that makes me eat my words. So as you guys can see, a lot of Digimon fans have this sort of mixed opinion where it's like, delay the game if you need to delay it. but also like, why aren't you guys marketing it? So back to the question, should we be worried? I think a lot of people bring up a lot of good points, and ultimately I think the amount of worry is going to be scaled to how much you are looking forward to this game. If this is the apex of games for you, then 100% I can understand the concern. While if you're not super into tactical RPGs and just want to play some Digimon, I could also understand why you're not too concerned either way. There's so little information on all this that I can't make a concrete definitive answer to the initial question. I know a lot of you guys wanted me to either say, hey, this is a big problem, or nah, don't worry about it. But honestly, the current situation has me really mixed on this, and I have to agree with what a lot of people are saying in the comments. It's concerning that the game has not had marketing, that there hasn't been much updates, and that it's been delayed 3 times, but also I would rather them take their time than release a crappy game. That said, I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on all of this. Do you think that this is something that we should be worried about, or perhaps there's nothing to be worried about, or even a mixed opinion? Definitely make sure to let me know in the comments below, and if you do want to stay up to date on Digimon Survive and the overarching monster taming genre, definitely make sure to subscribe for more. You can also check me out on Twitter and my Discord server. All links will be in the description. Special thanks to all the channel's patrons, especially our mythical backers, StealCase and Jim Hamilton. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.